Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner, is a quote from James Frey, and while I only vaguely know who he is because of some scandal that surrounded one of his books, this statement is something that I have come to accept as a fact. No, it isn't necessarily a bad thing to care what others think about you, but when worrying about the opinions of others outweighs what makes you happy, there is a huge problem. While I have always known this, over the past few years I have really come to realize how important it actually is. No one should ever live their life in fear of what someone else might think. Your own happiness is always much more important. Ever since I was a child, I've always obsessed over what everyone around me thinks of me. I never wanted my peers to hate me, I didn't want to disappoint my parents, and the thought of someone looking down on me because of who I was or what I did terrified me. I was afraid to be me around pretty much everyone, and therefore I hid behind the countless walls that I would surround myself with. On many occasions, I would even do things that I really didn't want to do at all, simply because it was what those around me wanted or expected. I began to slowly become consumed in the facade that I was putting on, and I quickly realized that it was putting me into a place that was not desirable whatsoever. I realized that this was really just making me incredibly unhappy. Not only was I having to put in constant effort to avoid slipping up, but the way in which I viewed myself was entirely unhealthy. When you constantly worry about what other people think of you, you begin to think that there is genuinely something terribly wrong with yourself. Once you begin to accept this, it puts you in a pretty bad place mentally. I started to hate the me that I didn't show anyone else. However, with the help of a few amazing people in my life, I finally realized how stupid I was being. This may sound somewhat selfish, but making yourself happy should never come behind making people who are entirely irrelevant to your life happy. The worst thing that can happen is that someone will decide that they don't like you, and there are billions of people on the earth. The opinion of one person really doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things. If you're worried about what someone else thinks of you, you're probably worrying too much. No one spends all of their time thinking about how much they can't stand someone or something that someone did when it didn't really affect them much at all in the first place. And lastly, there is nothing wrong with you. There is no such thing as perfect, and you should never have to hide behind something or someone else to feel as though you are acceptable. Obviously, I can't say that I don't care at all about what anyone thinks of me at this point. However, if any of you knew me freshman year, I'm sure you can see that I've changed quite a bit since then. The past couple of years have probably been the best years of my life, and this is mainly due to the fact that I have finally been able to make myself stop focusing on others' opinions and instead just focus on me. While this may not apply to all of you, if you were to take one thing away from this lecture, I hope that it's how stupid it is to make yourself unhappy over the thoughts of others. It is literally impossible to be liked by everyone, so you should never feel as though you need to act like you are something you're not, simply to please others.